And a low downwind. Cessna over the threshold, coming up on the white dot, at or beyond the white dot, left turn first available. I got a high wind coming up on about a half-mile final, clear to land at or beyond. Traffic on the left face, you're following a Cessna down, low off your left. Square it up just a little bit, and then we're going to get you in. Start your descent, though. Start your descent on the base. Traffic on final, give me follow on base. Base traffic, start turning toward the numbers now. High wing coming up on quarter-mile final, take it all the way down to the green. Cessna taxiing on the green, expedite down to the next hard surface. Get me some speed, there you go, 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 go fast. This is going to be good. I got traffic on a mile final. You're following traffic ahead and to your right. High wing coming up on the threshold. Take it all the way down to the green dot.
5 Charlie Sierra, 2 mile final.
A mile final, turn north, and we're going to just make you, we're going to bring you back around. Jet traffic's coming up on about a mile and a half final. Runway 9 clear to land.
Okay, all right. Let's listen up, guys. If you're on final for runway 9, I want you to offset to the left. I got a jet that's landing on runway 9. The jet's cleared to land runway 9 if you can make it. If not, just continue straight ahead. It looks like you're going around for the jet. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Oh, we had one right in front of us, sir.
Dragger. Let's see. What we got? A tricycle. Tricycle, put it down. Tricycle, put it down. Tricycle, put it down. Tail dragger. Down to the green dot, then a left turn. Short final here. You clear to land on 9 all the way to the white dot. Go down to the white dot. Find somebody to follow out here. Canard, just come to the runway, and I might have to just send you around. That'll be fine. And for the jet, you just want to stay in this pattern, or you want to go back out for an instrument approach?
Stay in a pattern, Charlie Sierra.
All right, just stay with me here for a minute. And my tail dragger, let's see, over the numbers, go down to the green. And Canard's going to have to go around. Canard, go around. Canard, go around. Canard, go around. And my high wing here over the runway, keep it airborne. Keep it airborne. You do not descend. Do not descend. You got a fast guy behind you. Do not descend. There you go. Keep it airborne. Keep it airborne. As soon as the guy behind you gets slowed down, I'm going to put you down. So keep it airborne. The one that just passed the white dot, make a left turn on the hard surface. All right, my high wing tail dragger, you can put it down now. You can put it down now. And Charlie Sierra, let me get you about a mile off. Let's see, Charlie Sierra, I lost. There you are. Make a left-hand turn. I'll try to resequence you here on the downwinds. We'll see how it looks. Short final, you're clear to land runway 9 on the white dot. Clear to land on the white dot. There you go. And the tricycle left on the hard surface and follow the flagman. Welcome. Thanks for being part of the show. And let's see, just find somebody to follow out follow on the final. And as you get close to the runway, if it's not going to work, we're going to send you around and then try to resequence you. Now, who else got sent around that's not back on the downwind? The Canard?
Yeah, Canard.
All right, Canard, there's a Gulfstream up there that went around too. I just lost sight of him, but you're going to make kind of a left-hand turn and stay low. I think Charlie Sierra, what's your altitude?
3,200.
Okay, that'll be fine. Just maintain VFR. I don't know what else is up there above you. Probably most everybody's down here, so just make a left-hand turn. We'll try to get you back here.
Canard's got the jet in sight.
Okay, the RV, maybe an RV-10, whatever, you're on final. Keep your speed up and go all the way down to the, aim for the green dot for me. Actually, keep your speed up. There's a guy behind you. Aim for the green dot, and I'm sure that's plenty of room for you to land on runway 9. You're clear to land on runway 9. Number 2, you're going to go down to the white dot. Follow the white dot. Actually, you know what? That's 1,500 feet. You're going to land at the white dot. The spacing looks adequate here. 2 guys on final. You're kind of tight there. Keep each other in sight, and you're going to aim for the white dot. If it's not going to work, we'll come up with a plan B. We might have to send you around. The second guy behind you out there in about a 2-mile final. Are you slow enough to be able to follow that guy in front of you? You need to go around.
Yeah,
Well, I probably shouldn't ask that because I had about 5 guys answer me, so I should know better than that. After 35 years, you would think, right? All right, so let me see. The guy who's number 1, it's number 1. What kind of airplane is he? An RV type. All right, RV type. Keep it airborne for me. Keep it airborne. And I got a fast guy behind you. The number 2 guy over the trees there. Go ahead and put it down on the numbers. Put it down on the numbers. My first guy just coming up on the numbers at the over the grass at the numbers. I want you to keep
T-minus 1 minute and counting.
Hello.
Four, three, two, one.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, Dave, was that a salute there?
Yep.
Oh, look, Dave's got bunting up.
Yes, of course. It's that week.
What's happening, Dave?
Have you been made a government minister, Dave?
I haven't been to any parties yet.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Here's mine. Red top. Comes from another prop. Hello and welcome, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us on this Thursday evening's live stream. I think it's traditional and only correct that I start off by saying thank you very much to Sky Demon for sponsoring this. And here is this week's Sky Demon Top Tip. We've done something here. Here you go.
Hi, I'm Tim from Sky Demon. Welcome to today's top tip. When you're flying with Sky Demon, the best flight information service to talk to is displayed down here in virtual radar. It's normally at the top right of the virtual radar, unless you're coming up to a boundary. Like here, where you'll see the next frequency coming up in good time. Another way to see the current and next flight information service is to simply open the radio tab, where you'll see them in green. Finally, you can see the appropriate flight information service for any point on our map by long pressing to bring up the What's Here menu and looking under Radio Services. For more information on any of our features, go to skydemon.aero and choose Help and Support.
Well, that's exciting. I didn't know it did that.
That's very clever.
I knew it did it in one place. I didn't know it did it in 3 different places. And I still find myself thinking, I wonder who I can dial up here to do this, that, or the other. And then now I'll just look and it'll be there straight away. Probably need to bring you the bad news, straight good news, depending on your point of view, earlier rather than later. If you have tuned in, hoping to see an interview with Mack, who's aiming to be the youngest person to fly around the world solo. We believe he's in Mauritius. He was due to join us. We promoted it. We told everyone about it. And we got an email saying, sorry, he's delayed.
Yeah, although I have actually just seen he posted on Instagram an hour ago that he apparently had food poisoning yesterday. So maybe that's got something to do with it.
Yeah, that's not good.
No.
No, maybe he's cleaning his airplane out. Who knows? Anyway, let's not go there because that's not worth it. Well, Mac, hope you get better soon. But however, we've got someone even better than Mac. We've got the world famous Darren Lewington, who's going to talk to us about at least 3 different things today. So we'll be welcoming Darren shortly. And he'll be giving you probably the best presentation and the best talk that you've ever heard. So no pressure there, Darren. Talking about really good things, it's probably time to bring in young Simon. Here you go, Simon. How are you?
Hi, everybody. I'm very well, thank you. Are you?
Let me just quickly make you into a big person. There you go.
Even better now, the sun's just come out. So a lovely evening. So the sun shines on the righteous, doesn't it? Shall we take a look at the weekend weather and see what you got coming up?
Would you like me to add your weather pictures? Is this the right time?
Yeah, go on, go for it. Go for it. There we go. Let's try and do that a little bit, and we'll just expand a bit. I've started off with a satellite picture from today because this obviously get your weather anoraks on. This is just a great picture to look at. It really shows the contrast between the unstable air over the north of the country. So you see these lumps here. These are large cumulonimbus and cumulonimbus clouds that have been giving some really heavy showers across Scotland. And in fact, just looking at the radar, they're still doing that now. But then look towards the south. This is the front that's just clearing away down towards the south at the moment. Can you see that kind of scallopy shape in the cloud that's in there? Those are wave clouds, and that's indicative of stable air. So the opposite of what we've got further north. And when you see this on the satellite picture, if you're going to go flying, always just be aware that's turbulent air. So the chances of turbulence when you see those clouds is increased phenomenally. Now, for glider pilots, that's great because they use those wave clouds to climb rapidly. But for GA, actually, it's not that great for powered GA because it will throw you around all over the place. But I just thought that's a beautiful picture showing those contrasting unstable and stable air masses. Right, I'll shut up now because I could go on about that all day. This is the forecast then for tomorrow. Stuck some wind arrows on here for you as well today, just to show what the wind's going to be doing through the weekend. We've got a west-northwesterly flow through tomorrow. We've got a weak front that just comes into northeastern parts of Scotland. May have a little bit of rain associated with that. Base is down at about 2,000 feet. But elsewhere across the country, high pressure's building in. It's quite a pleasant day. Probably more cloud across Ireland, Western Wales, western parts of England, but across the east, that's where we'll see the best of the sunshine. Bases typically across western parts of the country around about 2,000 to 3,000 feet. Across the east, we're looking about 4,000 feet. Now for Saturday, notice the winds are going around to the north on Saturday. High pressure off towards the west. That northerly flow actually brings pretty decent conditions through Saturday. Again, there's a fair amount of cloud. It's sort of broken stratocumulus, and typical base is 3,000 to 4,000 feet for most of us. Across northern Scotland, probably more cloud here. Base is about 2,000 to 3,000 feet, but for western Scotland, it looks really nice. And actually, for most other areas, it's looking pretty good through Saturday as well. That northerly flow probably only about 8 to 10 knots, so not bad at all. And then on Sunday, the winds go around more into a northeasterly. Now, this traditionally brings us more unstable air, and by unstable air, I mean showers. So what we're going to be finding on Sunday is the wind picks up a little bit. It comes in from the northeast, as we've just seen, probably around about a 12 to 15 knot northeasterly. The risk of showers increases, and you can see there on the chart bits and pieces of rain around. So we are going to be seeing showers in some areas, probably northern eastern Scotland, eastern parts of England, the Welsh Mountains, parts of southwest England, a higher chance of seeing showers. But in between them, visibility is going to be good, and actually flying conditions are pretty good if you can get around them. So cloud bases, 2,000 to 2,500 foot, I think, across northern eastern Scotland, eastern parts of England. Further west, further south, probably 3,000 to 3,500 feet. But watch for the tops on Sunday, because in those showers, we could be up at sort of 12 to 15,000 feet. But as I say, away from the showers, visibility is pretty good, and it looks pretty decent overall. But Sunday's the one that I think you just need to watch the forecast very carefully for. Just make sure things don't deteriorate with those showers. So not a bad weekend at all. And if you want to learn more about the weather, I've got my next classroom-based weather school, Aviation Weather Part 1, which is going to be held on Saturday, the 25th of June. You can come along, spend a day with me. Look at you. And I'll tell you all about weather. You can put your weather anoraks on, and we'll have a fab day of weather together. Go to weatherschool.co.uk, and you can book your place there now. Okay, I'll leave you with that for now. Thanks for watching. See you. Have a great weekend.
Before you go, Simon, I've got a question. In the chart for tomorrow, you were saying like basically this southern part of the country has got a whole bunch of, sorry, on the satellite picture. The southern bunch of the country had a whole load of lenticular clouds, so that meant turbulence.
Yeah.
And then the northern part of the country has got a whole load of cunims, which presumably also means turbulence.
Yeah. Go on, sorry.
It's got different varieties depending it's north and south.
Yeah, absolutely. What you'd find up here with these cunims that are across northern and western parts of Scotland, that would be the kind of you would still be able to see them from afar. You're still going to get turbulence associated with those cunims. And, you know, typically we'll say you don't fly within 10 to 20 miles of a cunim because of the risk of turbulence there. So you'd have that sort of turbulence, and you could see around them. But the stuff across southern England, where these sort of scallop clouds are, this wave cloud across the south, this is the sort of stuff that you'll look up. You'll see the clouds a little bit dark on the bases, but actually you don't expect there to be the sort of turbulence that we'd see here, which would be moderate turbulence. So it's the sort of stuff that as pilots can kind of catch you out. And you often see this east of the Welsh Mountains, east of the Pennines, eastern parts of Scotland as well. And it is the sort of turbulence that you'd go off in and think, things are going to be okay. And suddenly this catches you out.
Well, thank you very much for that. I'll bear that in mind and avoid it as much as I can.
I like it when the weather works.
Yeah.
How often is that?
It's read the book this evening. That's what I like to see.
Thank you very much, Simon. Have a great weekend.
Have a good one. See you.
Thanks.
Bye. Cheers.
You just wanted to see my flag.
The only flag I could rustle up at short notice was this one.
Oh, right.
Oh, right.
Not even the flyer flags.
The flyer flag is in a stack of interlocked boxes down there, and would require a little bit more.
Had
I had a bit more notice that Dave was going to go all bunting. And have you got your Union Jack boxers on as well, Dave?
No, I'm saving those.
Okay.
I've only got the one pair.
Thursday. Right, where are we? Let's move on to some serious stuff, shall we? I think it's probably time for some news, and there's some fairly big news today coming up. I think
there is. First of all, Charlie Parker says Ed has moved house. That is news. No, it's just the other side of my office, Charlie, and because we're using a different camera setup so that I actually speak at the same time as my mouth moves, I thought it was an opportunity to turn things around. So, no, I'm still in the same house.
There you go.
There we go.
So,
yes,
what have you got
so top of the news is a new government strategy for aviation that's been announced. That's right, just this morning, Aviation Minister Robert Courts unveiled the Department for Transport's Flight Path to the Future strategy plan. So this is a framework for the aviation sector that supports the Department for Transport's vision for a modern, innovative and efficient sector over the next 10 years. The 10-point plan focuses on how the government and industry can work together to deliver a successful aviation sector of the future. Now, as you'd expect, there's a chunk of it about the airline industry, but right in there at number 8 is make the UK the best place in the world for general aviation. Central to this, the strategy says the government's GA roadmap, published in April 2021, will play a central role in the future of GA. That roadmap focused on 5 key things: policy and governance, regulation and safety, airfield protection, GA airspace reform, and skills and technology. A couple of the things I spotted in there on the subject of airfield protection: DFT say they will publish guidance for local planning authorities on the importance of GA to ensure that GA is better understood and informs local planning and decision taking. And also in there, there's to continue the promotion of the use of electronic conspicuity devices to improve safety and support integration of GA and other users, which is drones. And there's a big segment on drones in there. Through the provision of funding to support take-up of electronic conspicuity grants. Now, obviously, the EC grant has been extended out till, I think it was April 2023, because they've still got money to give away. It adds to this. In November 2021, the DFT and CAs stood up a surveillance standards task force working with electronic conspicuity manufacturers to develop new voluntary specifications which will further promote interoperability for airspace users. Those specs will be published in spring 2022. So by our guess, that's going to be appearing very soon. Ian, I think you spotted something in there as well, didn't you?
I spotted a few things in there. Just getting back to the interoperability for electronic conspicuity thing, I suspect I know that people have been working on it, so it's not one of those CA projects that have been we should commit to this and then sort of just put it on the back burner. So I think that's definitely going to happen, and I am hoping that the people involved realise that the take-up for electronic conspicuity will be significantly boosted if there is provision of good and worthwhile data provided in the cockpit, as it were, shall we say. Let's hope they realise that. So I also spotted a couple of other things. I spotted this as a new thing being created. So alongside Flight Path to the Future, we're creating a new body called the Aviation Council, bringing together ministers, civil servants, representatives from across the aviation. Blah, 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 blah. You can read it for yourself. But basically, there's going to be yet another body. I suspect this one will be probably slanted a bit more towards the commercial side of things, but you never know. We'll get to find out. And hopefully it'll be really productive. I think, yes, indeed. I was thinking that as well out there, but I didn't say it. What else did I spot? Well, there's a couple of things I looked at. There was a sort of general aviation consultation report that was published back in 2018 that was referenced in this document quite a bit. One of the things that I don't think so somehow. But, although I'm getting on, if that's what you're talking, that's what you mean. Shockingly, I think I've missed. We're talking about RNAV approaches when this was back in 2018. Or GNSS approaches, I guess you call them now. And 80% of the airfields with instrument approaches in France now have GNSS approaches coded for them, which is astounding considering we've still got a couple, and that's about it. And then we've got a couple that no one can use. So, frankly, and I know the CA realise it's not their finest hour, but I'm kind of hoping it's close to the CA's worst hour, because they couldn't really have screwed it up much more than they actually have, costing a whole load of people a whole load of money and delivering a whole load of nothing, could they really? So, and then finally, my final point, I did a search for world leading, because we know this was produced by the DFT, and we know that to be on message, you have to be world leading these days. And there are, you'll be pleased to hear, 12, count them, 12 mentions of world leading throughout the whole document. So you can be assured that the flight path to the future is world leading, as are the strategies and stuff in it. So there you go. We will become the best place in general aviation in the world. But we need to make a few changes to get there, I think. And lastly, finally, one last thing before I shut up. An open invitation to Grant Sharps, Robert Courtser, Stephen Hillier, Sophie from, I've forgotten her name now. I was on a roll there. Sophie from the CA. Come along, talk to us, be a guest on Livestream. We'd love to have you. It would be really good.
Yeah, don't forget, the people who watch this show are the people who your plan impacts those people. So come and talk to them.
It's the people you serve. Come and talk to them about how well you're serving them. We'd be really, really interested to see that. So there you go. That's all I've got. Dave, you want to light it?
If you'd like to read more, I'll put a link to the document in the comments.
I was going to say, Dave, do you want to lighten the tone? But I'd scrolled down a bit too much. We've got a Dave. Do you want to bring some more sad news?
Well, this sad news is that Sonaka Aircraft, if you remember, they took the Sling 2 and made it a certified aircraft, and a very nice aircraft. We've flown it. Unfortunately, they're stopping production of the S200, the two-seat training aircraft. They did actually deliver 57 aircraft over about 3 years, so it hasn't been a failure, if you like. But it's not making enough money. Well, it's not making any money for Sonaka. And the group, Sonaka Group, which is a big aerospace engineering group, feel they would be better off putting resources elsewhere. So no one will lose their jobs, but they will be deployed elsewhere in Sonaka Group, and they try to put a positive on it. But basically, it's the end of Sonaka Aircraft. They will be looking after the aircraft that are out there by supplying spares and support, but that's about it.
It's a shame, isn't it? What the hell was that?
I'm getting my notes up in a tab from fly.co.uk and clicked on the wrong thing.
Oops. Because Sonaka got off to a really good start, but I'm guessing COVID, they're probably one of the casualties of COVID, aren't they? So
possibly, but I mean, 57 aircraft in 3 years for a startup is not bad. Yeah. So perhaps their ambitions, their expectations were just a tad high.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder how long it took them to build it. I wonder if it was like a really labour-intensive build or something.
Don't know. They were well used to building things, so
they should.
I think they'd be production efficient.
They might have been well used to building things with significantly greater profit margins than general aviation, though.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's probably.
Yes, Dave has become a government minister, and no, he's not wearing his Union Jack boxers. To bring you up to speed. I've got a little story next. Just need to find this here. If you're thinking about going flying tomorrow, don't forget tomorrow is the last day for the Jubilee practice rehearsal. So if you're in that area, be careful. There was a little note that said, because I've been rehearsing, I think, for 3 days this week, that said, following a successful rehearsal, the restrictions would be cancelled by no time. But the last time I looked, they weren't cancelled by no time. So I guess they haven't had a successful rehearsal just yet. And then, of course, next week you have the real thing. So beware if you bust that. It's a huge thing. So probably quite easy to bust. But if you do bust it, it's not going to go well for you, I would suggest.
No.
And finally, sorry, Ed.
I was going to say, let's hope they get a successful practice before next week. Otherwise, they'll still be practicing when they fly over Her Majesty.
That's probably why the rat is so big, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, finally, if you're flying, I think it's Spanfield this weekend. So if you're flying in the area down towards the Isle of Wight, then that is going to be heaving with flying machines. So yeah, keep a good eye out for that.
And as Charlie Parker says, red arrows with the Diamond 7.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, I don't know why it's the Diamond 7 instead of the Diamond 9. I mean, I don't know why those two people. Does anyone out there know?
There is some speculation on the internet.
There is a lot of speculation.
Yes, we don't like to go into speculation on the internet.
No, I am also aware of a whole bunch of speculation. I just wondered if anybody actually knew. Well, clearly, two people at least know.
Yes, I think Stuart Brewer has obviously been having a chat to Charlie Parker.
Jolly good.
Right.
Jolly good.
Catkin. No, it wasn't food poisoning.
Hang on a second. Hang on. So we're mixing.
Says, what's on the white sheet behind Ian's right shoulder?
This one here?
Yes. Where's Mac?
Yeah, that's what it says. That's my little message board and reminder. So there you go. It should really have said. What's the other one? There you go. Join today. Okay. That's what you need to know. Right, let's move on quickly. Where have we got? Johnny, tell us about Spanish.
Yeah, so if you fancy a new airplane, well, not new, but new to you and fairly cheap, 5 airplanes are being auctioned by a state-owned company in Spain, and the starting price for each of them is €150. You can go and view them.
What's the name of the auction house, Johnny? Sorry.
The auction house? I haven't got that far yet, but I'll keep scrolling and see if I can get to it.
I think there's a reason Dave gave you this news story, Johnny.
All right. Well, I'll keep talking and we'll get to it. So you can basically you can view them on the 13th of June, and the auction will close on the 16th. The aircraft are 2 DR400s, 2 Rally 180Ts, and an ASK-21 glider. One of the DR400s has logged 66,000 landings, 66,500 landings since 1986. And the glider's clocked over 10,000 hours of flying and has made nearly 23,000 landings. Everything comes with spare parts. All the aircraft are registered. They include documentation, airworthiness certificates, all the maintenance manuals, all the data sheets, etc., etc., etc. And I'm looking for the name of the auction. Oh, here we go. Right. So the auction house is Crapalia. I've organised an open day so people can go and look. And as I've said, a deposit of €2,500 is required before you even place a bid. So you've got to be serious and into it. But you can, head to the website, look through the aircraft in more details, and
so I have to spend I have to spend €2,500 to bid €150. Wow. Okay.
Hopefully that's a returnable, refundable deposit.
I think they're expecting the price to go above that.
Right. Dave, if you don't want a rally, was it Dave? Yeah. If you don't want a rally and you don't want a DR400, there you go. Yeah. What else is there?
Well, you can own a share of the Catalina flying boat. And the operator of the well-known Duxford-based Catalina flying boat called Miss Pickup, they're holding an open day in October at Duxford. It's an opportunity for pilots and non-pilots to spend a day with some of the owners and crew and learn about what's involved in getting involved in share ownership. This David Legg for Plain Sailing Air Displays, which operates the aircraft, said this method of owning and flying a large warbird has proved very successful, and we're keen to open up the opportunity to get involved as a shareholder to more individuals. They haven't put a price on the shares, but it's not a cheap share. It's not going to be, £10.50.
I've got a feeling it's around about the £15,000 mark, isn't it?
Yeah. So share owners get the opportunity to fly in the aircraft, and there are opportunities to become qualified on the aircraft as a co-pilot or captain. anyone interested in finding out more and attending the open day, there's an email address on the and there's a website address on the story on flyer.
Excellent.
Is there a link in the comments?
Yeah, stick a link in the comments. Right, I know this is a little bit non-standard, but looking at the next couple of items on there, I think it's time to introduce our guest for tonight, our superstar, our top person, our top reliable person, and bring him in here. Darren, hello, how are you?
Good evening. Very, very good. Thanks.
Let me just make you. Let me see if I can just. There you go. Just for a couple of minutes, we're going to give you this level of fame. So, Ed, you've got the next story. So,
shall I do that news story first?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, Top Gun. There's some great aviation films finally out in the cinema. Top Gun Maverick is finally here. So you might remember this was set to premiere in July 2019, but was delayed to June 2020, then December 2020, then July 2021, November 2021, and finally it's out this week. It's the sequel to the 1986 film Top Gun, and the film stars Tom Cruise as Captain Pete Maverick Mitchell. And it's 36 years since the events of the predecessor. And the film follows Maverick, who's dodged promotions in order to continue his career as a test pilot. And his career ends up taking him back to the Top Gun weapons school, where he has to confront his past as he's charged with training a new squadron of fighter pilots. So I presume everyone might have seen the Tom Cruise and James Corden video where James gets a number of brilliant flights with Tom in Honda Jet, P-51, L-39, and I'm sure
they just glazed over the Honda Jet, didn't they? It was, I wanted to see more about it.
That's actually Tom's own Honda Jet. Yeah. So, and I think a lot of people are like, oh, actually, Tom gets in a Mustang, and there's no one else flying. It's like, oh, actually, he's a real pilot. So yeah, surprise.
There was a whole thread that I was reading somewhere on some online bit where there was a couple of guys arguing. One of them going, no, he didn't do any of the flying. It was all CGI. And the other guy was going, no, he did the flying. No, I promise you, if you look at that pixel there. It went on and on and on. Right, and the next bit is?
As the Lancaster film, which is the story of the iconic World War II bomber, through the words of the last 38 surviving veterans of the conflict, set in context of the time. The film combines modern-day air-to-air footage of the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight Lancaster, a newly remastered archive film from the Imperial War Museum. However, at the heart of the film are extraordinary recollections of the veterans. When this was filmed, the youngest was 95, the oldest was over 100. So, Darren, I understand that you've seen the film.
Indeed, yes.
Before you say anything there, Darren, just hang on 2 seconds. We got permission to play the trailer. So if you haven't seen it, I'm just going to play the trailer. It's 1 minute 44. So take a look at this, and then we'll have a chat about it afterwards.
You knew you were facing death, night after night after night, but it's just the thing you accepted. The Lancaster's a pilot's aeroplane, responsive but very powerful.
There's no question about it. It transformed Bomber Command.
Just imagine the sky full of fireworks. They hammered hell out of us.
The aircraft went down in flames. Boom. Gone.
And then there was nothing left.
Morale was very low indeed because the losses were building up.
We lost over 40 aircraft in one night.
I was so devastated. I wasn't able to say goodbye, darling.
Empty chairs at empty tables. That's where John used to sit. That's where Harry used to sit.
I'm sorry to see them go.
The hard facts are we had a job to do. And we had to get on with it.
There was water everywhere. It was just like an inland sea.
The Lancaster was the best of its day.
I feel bloody lucky that we survived.
The whole thing was about teamwork.
I didn't know it at the time, but I was joining the best crew in the Air Force. When I look at the Lancaster, I have to tell myself, did I really fly one of those aeroplanes?
Oh. Sorry, Darren.
It was the trailer is obviously that you've just seen is fantastic, as is the rest of the film. It's just a wonderful piece of cinematography. The flying sequences, John Dibbs did a lot of the filming for that, and it's stunning, obviously, with the BBMF's Lancaster. But the stories, which go all the way through the film, are just incredibly moving. It was pretty dusty in there last night, I have to say. It certainly moved me to tears on a number of occasions. And it was the premiere last night at the Curzon in Mayfair, and I've never been to the cinema in a suit before, but it was a lovely experience. And there were a number of veterans there in the audience. So for us, watching it as a story, just thinking about them at the end of the road, watching it as their lives was incredibly moving. It was wonderful. I'd urge everybody to go and see it. It's on release in a number of places and available on DVD and Blu-ray and download, I think, imminently. So yeah, fabulous piece of work. Really, really moving.
So how long does the film last?
I think about an hour and 45, hour and a half, hour and 45. I always think, but yeah, completely captivating right from start to finish.
Next year is the 80th anniversary of the Downbusters raid.
Yeah, of course. The film features Billy Johnson, who is the last survivor, as I'm sure you know. And a few years back, I was very, very lucky to be able to fly him. The plan was to take him to Scampton as part of Project Propeller, which I think was 2016. The plans for Scampton changed quite late on, and as it happened, the weather wasn't particularly good. But we brought Johnny along to the airfield beforehand, a few weeks beforehand, to fly him and to sit alongside him, and he was there. So my proudest moment from the flying point of view, without doubt.
I don't think you're going to top that, are you?
So you broke up there, Ian. Say again.
So I don't think you're going to top that experience.
No, pretty nerve-wracking, as I say. As I turned final and looked to my right and thought he was then 94, 95, I think. Survived the Downbusters, paid the Nazi onslaught. Do not mess up this landing. And I've stayed in touch with him, and his interview last night in the film was in his little flat that he lived in down in Westfield Trim, and I've sat in that flat and had a cup of tea and a glass of whiskey with him, and he's told me about the Downbusters story in the first person. It's just an amazing experience, and all of the stories in the film last night are just like that. I think really it puts it into perspective.
So when the film was over, Darren, and everyone was presumably a little bit quiet to begin with, how did it go when you all met in the foyer afterwards?
Well, there was a drinks reception at a hotel just down the road, and it's interesting to say that these guys produced the Spitfire documentary about 4 years ago, and that again is another fantastic piece of cinema. But the feeling was very different. At the end of Spitfire, there was a celebratory air to it, insofar as the winner of the Battle of Britain's saviour of Britain in its hour of need. Last night it was very different. Bomber Command had a very different job to do, taking the war to Germany, not without its controversies, of course, with Dresden, which was covered and covered well. I felt in the documentary last night, but the sense and the feeling was very different. We were all just humbled to be in the presence of those guys. So it's very, very quiet. And then we all wandered down to the hotel and had a few drinks, and just got to chew the fat with veterans all well into their 90s now, and a couple over 100. And for them, it's as vivid now as it was all those years, 80 plus years ago. And we talk about the sacrifice, 55,573 bomber Command M and never made it back. But those guys who've carried those memories and those recollections throughout their lives, they've made a huge sacrifice too, and I find that really, really, really humbling. And there's a particular piece towards the end of the documentary where Rusty Warman, Lancaster pilot, says, he remembers this, and when he goes to bed tonight, having spoken about it in his interview, he'll close his eyes and he'll know he'll be able to see the flak and remember that. And you just think that's 80 years ago. You've lived with that for so long. But then, quite cheery said, but we were doing our job, and it's absolutely fine. Just an incredible generation. We were incredibly fortunate for what they did for us, all of us, and felt really lucky last night to be in their presence.
I need to find out where that's on and see if I can't go to see it in the cinema somewhere.
Yeah.
It's definitely make the effort to see it on the large screen. The sound of the Lancaster right at the start there, tearing over the dam. So those Merlins on a big screen, it really makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. Fantastic stuff.
But I don't think we've got the easy opportunity of getting our own screening and putting on some kind of do. I think although it'd be nice to, and if we could, we will. But I think if we find out where it's on at a cinema, maybe we can. If it's on anywhere near around here, we can let people know. Maybe meet up for a drink before and after or something, and then go and watch it on the screen somewhere. Stay where you are, Darren. Talking about meeting up, I think there's something going on. There is something going on at Aerospace Bristol on the 16th of June, I believe.
There is indeed. Yep. Thursday, the 16th of June, what was going to be the first day of Aero Expo, but obviously no longer is. The charity that I'm the chair of trustees of, Fly to Help, and our founder, Phil O'Dell, Pod, the Rolls-Royce Director of Flight Operations, is going to be giving a talk under the wings of Concorde about the Project Axel electric world record flight that they broke last year. So fantastic venue. Pod is a great orator and a fantastic all-round chap, and really looking forward to getting down there and hearing about the stories. Sorry we clashed with Thursday night and Flyer. That wasn't intentional. It wasn't actually intentional to try and clash with Aero Expo to start with as well, but that happened with a whole different story. But good opportunity for people to come down to Bristol and get a story.
So on that basis, because Darren phoned and said, do you think it's a good idea with Aero Expo there? Can you give it a push and stuff like that? So obviously we said yes, we can give it a push, and then he said, oh, by the way, it's on Thursday. Okay. Could you live stream it? It's on Thursday. We're a little bit busy on Thursdays, kind of thing, with all of our vast experience and technical team. So we we had a chat about it, and what we decided was that just to add a bit of fun to the evening, we'd all decamp to Aerospace Bristol that day, and at 7:30 we'd run a live stream live from Aerospace Bristol, get Pod on as a bit of a guest, and then go straight into Pod's talk and stream that. So you'll be able to watch. He says, throwing his pen around. You'll be able to watch the live stream, and then you'll be able to see. We'll be asking you for donations to Fly to Help. But better still, if you want, you can buy tickets. I believe there are tickets still available, aren't there, Darren?
Yes, there are. Yeah,
there are tickets still available. We'll make it clear where you can get them. But you could hold this up and scan this QR code with your phone. And I think the ticket for the evening, if you come along, is £45, and that gets you entrance in, gets you a buffet, gets you an after-hours walk around the exhibits, and it gets you that great talk with Pod, obviously, and a small added free bonus. You get to see a bit of the Flyer live stream live, as it were, and take part in our fancy hangar and everything else. So we'll be sending out lots of emails about that, and we look forward to seeing you all there. So that should be pretty good, I think.
A live stream.
A live stream, yeah.
It will only be the second ever live stream, won't it? The first one being from Ed's hotel room.
Yeah.
Oh yes, there were the three we did from LAA rally.
The third. Yeah, okay, so it's not the first, it's not the second, it's the sixth live stream. Anyway, it's a rare live stream. But I mean, come and see Pod, come and look around the exhibits, come because you want to support the charity, come for all those good reasons, and then an added bonus, hopefully a bonus. You get to see a little bit of the live stream live because we'll kind of see if we can make it up as we go along, as usual.
Dave's going to wear his Union Jack boxes.
And Dave,
on his head, perhaps.
Dave has said that if there's a sellout in tickets, he will come along in Union Jack boxers.
I'm not necessarily going to show them to anybody, though.
No, absolutely not. Quite right. Okay, as just I'm gonna make you back to normal size now, Darren.
Thank you.
There you go. But I'm going to leave you here because you can take part in this game. How are we doing for time? We're doing good for game. So another bit of the news story was that JAMA, German Aviation Manufacturers Association, have released their Q1 aircraft shipment figures. Now that is a really boring spreadsheet unless you're deeply into the world of aviation manufacturing, as it were. But we thought we'd spice it up with a little game. So it's kind of a bit like Bruce Forsyth's higher or lower, but we kind of changed it a bit to make more or less. And I'm going to spare you the little trailer.
You're not going to play the trailer, but it's got such high. It's got
this
such
one.
It is quite long.
It's probably it's about 5 or 6 seconds longer than it needs to be. So anyway, here we go. Questions, and feel free to answer out there. And in the sort of team here, we want this if you think it's less, or this if you think it's more. Okay.
Higher or lower? Yes.
Higher or lower, more or less. So there you go. So start off with something very simple. Single engine pistons, were there fewer or more shipped in 2021 Q1 versus 2022 Q1? So who thinks?
I'm going to go higher.
Okay, well, you are all right, but only just. In 2022, there were 234, and in 2021, there were 212. So let's think about that for a second. A total of 234, only 234 single-engine piston aircraft shipped in the entire world in Q1 of 2022. And just to add a little bit of scale to that, if you take Tesla, clearly a minority car manufacturer, they're quite popular, but they're nowhere near your Volkswagens or your Toyotas and stuff like that. Tesla alone shipped 300,000 cars in Q1. So 300,000 compared to 234, which really goes and answers the question about why isn't there a modern aircraft engine or stuff like that. But anyway, okay, next question. Daya, Sukata, however you want to pronounce it, and their TBM 940 safe return aeroplane, did they ship more in 2021 or more in 2022? So thumbs up for more in 2022, thumbs down for less in 2022.
More.
That's more. Johnny, I'm afraid you are the winner in this one. In 2021 Q1, they shipped 7, whereas in Q1 of 2022, they only shipped 2, which is kind of surprising. Maybe that's because they kind of had a word with people going, we got the 960 coming. You should delay and get the 960 instead. It'll only cost you a little bit more. That's what I suspect happened there. Okay, next question. A little bit off-piste, literally, on this one. Oh, yeah, wrong quiz. Okay, Pilatus, PC6, Q1 2021 or Q1 2022, more or less in 2022.
Wow, that's ended production, isn't it?
Sorry?
PC6 has ended production. So
up or down, people?
Oh, I'm going to go.
Oh,
I'm going to go down.
I don't know. It might be a trick question.
It could be a trick question. Might have had a run-out model.
So that's Dave and Darren are going down.
Yeah.
Ed's going up, and Johnny's not quite sure. Okay, well, funny enough, the reason I picked this one is you're right. The PC6 has ended production, but strangely, in 2021 Q1, the PC6 delivered 0 examples because it's ended production. But then in 2022, they went and shipped 1.
Wow,
So,
that must be the last one.
Mate, I suspect someone just went around the corner in the stores, moved a few bits, and go, "Oh my God, there's an airplane here. What are we going to do with that?" We've got to stop that.
It's probably half a PC12.
It's probably
not quite finished.
That's the next question. We're nearly getting there. We've only got a couple more to go. PC12, more or less in 2022.
Probably more.
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 You're going more. You're all right, apart from Ed, sadly, on this one. So it was 7 in 2021 and 13 in 2022.
It's not Ed loses, is it?
Apparently so.
Don't say that out loud, Dave.
Sorry.
I've got that Dave feeling.
Yeah. M600. That stonkingly successful turbine of theirs. Lovely airplane. More or less in 2022 compared to 2021.
More.
Less for Darren, less
more.
for Dave, more for Johnny, and more for Ed. Ed, I'm afraid that's 2 lobsters in a row. 6 in 2021 Q1 and only 3 in 2022.
Wow.
Right, just 2 more, 2.5 more. Veris Electro.
Oh. If it's the American agent talking, they shipped 4,000, didn't they?
Yeah, this is worldwide, so it's a combination of voices. More. Is everyone going for more?
Please, Adrian, let's not do that.
No, let's not do that, Adrian. There's only one more after this. Anyway, so basically, the answer is they shipped 14 in 2021 and only 4 in 2022. So I'm not quite sure what happened there. And last but not least, I'm going to grab these 2 together because I realise we are going on a little bit. We're going to put together the Beechcraft G36 and G58, more or less in Q1 of 2021 versus Q1 of 2022.
Yes.
More for Darren, less for Ed, more for Johnny. Well, this you'll be surprised to know this is an equal thing here. Equal because in 2021, not just Q1, but the whole of 2021, Textron sold 0 G36s and 0 G58s, and so far in 2022 Q1, they've sold 0 of each. So it's a bit sad, really. But there you go.
How many Ed was shipped in Q1 2067? That's planning ahead, John.
Yeah, we got lots of Ed t-shirts. Right, okay, that's that. Dave, what's your story next?
This is about you remember the guys who were setting out to fly from Kitty Hawk in Sussex up to Ukraine. Well, they decided not to go to Ukraine, obviously, but anyway, they went from a latitude of 35 to 70, and so that's what they called the trip, the 35 to 70. Anyway, they got back earlier on today. They made it from Holland via Belgium and France and home in one hop, and got back to Kitty Hawk to be welcomed by UK Border Force. But they said it only had Luke's fridge magics to declare. Border Force set them up. Border Force is reported to have said to them when they landed, "Where have you been?" So anyway, they're home.
Ukraine.
It's nice to know Border Force asked the right questions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, just 2 more. One more news story, which was where's Mac? We all know where Mac is, though.
Not on the live stream.
Not on the bloody live stream, Mac, but it's okay.
No.
We got
So yeah, the youngest pilot to fly around the world to an old bloke who barely gets out the sight of the Cotswolds in his cub. Yeah, sorry guys.
damn it, you got to be in it to win it. That's what I can say. Right, I think so we've kind of had a bit of Darren interview. We're going to leave you here. It's probably a little bit unfair to ask you to join into this week's Fantasy Hangar. So I'll just run the super slick Fantasy Hangar trailer, and then Ed can explain what it's all about.
Okay. Oh, I was going to say you aced it there, Ian. You even ran the right trailer, but you loved it so much you ran it twice.
Very good. I nearly ran it twice. What's it all about then, Ed?
So this week, inspired by the news that the Catalina Club, again, are selling shares, as they do every year, in their Catalina, we went looking for the most exciting shares we could find in the classified. So that's a trawl of trader plane and A4s and plane check and all of those. Who's found what? And obviously, if you played this at home, share in the comments. So who's first?
Well, I'm going to change the order a little bit this week, just for the sake of it. So I think I'm going to make Johnny go first.
Cool. Good. My notes are just loading.
Would you like to? Should we skip to Dave?
Go on then.
Dave,
Right.
Johnny's not ready.
No, okay. Well, I must admit, I found this quite hard. Ed came up with the idea and immediately came up with his choice. So we're all under a bit of pressure straight away, knowing Ed has made a good choice. I spent 2.5 hours this morning trying to find something. Now, it's easy to find a share. Finding a share of something that's going to compete against Ed in Fantasy Hangar was very hard. Anyway, in the end, instead of share, I used the words fractional ownership, which is what Americans like to call it. And I came up with this. This is incredible. This is an OV10 Bronco.
Oh, yeah.
You can have a share in this. It's quite an expensive share, I should say, but this is Fancy Hangar. A third fractional ownership share costs you $650,000.
How much?
Yes, $650,000. Fancy Hangar, isn't it? But it's a genuine warbird. This particular aircraft has flown in Vietnam. It also flew in Desert Shield and Desert Storm. So it's had a long career. I mean, this is a proper good-looking aircraft. It's actually the other thing I discovered. It's in Southern California. The other thing I discovered, there's an OV-10 Bronco Squadron based in Southern California. It's based at John Wayne Orange County Airport, and they've also got a restoration hangar in Chino. And the OV-10 Squadron has got 7 of these Broncos at the moment to keep Chino, and they're sort of basically restoring them. This one's done. This one's ready to fly. Just in case you're not aware of the Bronco, it's a twin turboprop light attack and observation aircraft. It's fast. It's got you can carry guns. Should you? Actually, that's not the right joke to make at the moment, is it? No, but it's good hand. Look, I think that's a great share.
And how much? What sort of share do we get for your $675,000?
You get 1/3.
One third. Wow. So this is a cool, very expensive.
Yes. We are talking Fantasy Hangar here.
As Cat Burton says, I'd love one, but I'd want the whole bloody thing for that much.
Right, too. I do think, though, I have to say, that's probably one of the strongest entrance from Dave that we've had for a while.
That's like heavyweight champion of the world start from Dave.
Yeah, that is.
That's a stronger start than when we do Fancy Hangar the Luscombe week for Dave.
Week off the Luscombe week. Well done, Dave. Well done, Dave. Johnny, have you got your notes ready yet?
Yeah, I'm all ready. So I've gone really. Basically, it was difficult trying to find something that was interesting and a share. And of course, as Dave said, you got. It depends what you type into Google. Fractional ownership. There's some. So I think controller.com or Plane Check sometimes use partnerships, and then there's flying clubs as well. So it was difficult, but I settled on down south. Went to New Zealand. Managed to find a website with a few, and I think Ed might have gone to the same website here. I found a Harvard, and it's a share available just for $10,000, which is, compared to Dave, absolutely nothing. It's a gorgeous looking machine. It would, of course, be a great big ball of fun to fly around in. You've got to be an approved purchaser, and I think for this organization you need something like, I think 200 hours P1 and about 10 hours tailwheel time to be able to get signed off and fly it. But they do all sorts of other aircraft. They've got about 3 or 4 Harvards, roughly around the same price range. But unlike some big warbirdy things, you do definitely get to fly it. It's not one of these things where you actually, you pay your thousands of dollars and have to sit in the passenger seat. You can fly these things. And this one in particular can also operate paid for passenger flights as well. So you could potentially earn a bit of money back from it. I think they call it Part 115 in New Zealand for scenic flights with passengers. So yeah, $10,000, decent looking airplane. And if you were in the same, if you had the same money as Dave, you could fly it for probably 1 million hours with the fuel that you
Fly New Zealand.
Yeah,
1 million hours. That would be like $2 an hour, which I think you probably could do.
Maybe not.
No,
Yes.
no. Ed, do you want to go next, or do you want me to have a go going next?
Yeah, no, I'm happy to go next because you've got quite an exciting one to go for the end.
Well, I've got a whole theatrical production.
Oh, of course you would have. Yes. So I've got to say, someone said in the comments, where is it? There we go. Nick Allen. This is not true. Ed chooses a quiz to fit his latest internet find. No, Dave made it sound like that was the case. I'm just reasonably good at searching things out. So, so I went looking, and on the New Zealand Warbirds Association website, I found this. It's a de Havilland Canada DHC2 Beaver, and it's owned by the Beaver Preservation Trust. They've been running it since 1984. And how cool is this? How often do you get shares? How often can you find shares in a Beaver? So they have a scheme where there's 25 shareholders. At the moment, there's 22 at the minute. So there's 3 spare shares. And amazingly, the share is 7,000 New Zealand dollars, which when I ran it through the conversion calculator is £3,600. That is bargain-tastic. They've operated it since 1984 with the 25 shareholders. Monthly fee is 85 New Zealand dollars, so £50 a month. That covers hangar insurance and admin. The hourly rate, get this, by which you have to add fuel and landing fees to, but it's only £118 an hour.
Wow.
I know.
That's a Billy bargain. I think that's an awesome share. That would be so cool to, access to a Beaver. So amazing. Absolutely. Darren, did you have a chance to look up anything in the last 35 seconds or something?
Not getting a particularly good signal on the phone in the office here, but I'm pretty sure I saw on Facebook or somewhere on social media relatively recently that there's shares in a pair of jet provosts. I think they operate from World and a third access to a Delphin. I can't remember the numbers, but it didn't seem horrendously expensive from what I recall. It's way more than I'm going to spend, but this is fantasy hangar. But it'd be nice to have 2 jet provosts and a Delphin in the hangar.
Yeah, very nice.
Okay.
I have had a go in the Catalina as well, so I can hugely recommend that. I managed to blag a ride with Matt a couple of years back from Duxford back to Gloucester. That's just an incredible machine. Great big control wheel like this that you just move around all over the place and nothing seems to happen to the aeroplane. Fantastic experience.
It's a great airplane.
So Ian, can you pull a win out of the bag?
I don't know. Let me just bear with me for a second.
Oh my God! If it requires button pushing, more than selecting a photo. Oh my God, he's vanished.
Another power cut.
30 plus years of adventuring. Jumping out of planes,
Well, it's top gear, isn't it?
And you bought yourself a bicycle, have you? Because that's your cycling helmet, isn't it?
It's Top Gun. It's Top Gun.
You're looking a bit more like Bottom Gun, to be fair.
Well, it's the only gun I had, I'm afraid. So I went looking for a Top Gun chair, and I found this MiG-21.
Oh, brilliant!
You You could buy it outright for $400,000. I mean, $400,000, but it does say partnership available for suitable people. So I figured, well, why not? $400,000 out of Nevada, supersonic jet. What could possibly go wrong? That has got to be, in this Top Gun week, the best share to go for, surely.
River Rock says Ian the Eagle. Yes.
Oh. You mean as opposed to Eddie?
That's it, yes. Ian, you've managed to convince Andrew Kennedy.
Oh, where's my flyer hat? Let me put that back on. There you go.
That's it.
Right. So, how many Ed wins have we got in there?
Adrian Norris has a good point. How's the factory support for mix right now?
Adrian, it's a fantasy hangar. It's never going to go wrong. It's never going to run out of parts. And actually, I mean, the MiG-21's been flying for 60 years. I think it is until relatively recently. It was the longest combat aircraft in production. I think it's probably sold more. It's the most prolific. It's the Toyota Corolla of the military aircraft.
You mean it's the Kalashnikov AK-47 of Warbird jets?
Yeah, I mean it's like common as muck. So in terms of getting parts, it can't be that bad. There's got to be an owners group somewhere. Some dodgy people. Yes.
Dictators.
Yes. Stuart Rue says, find me a share in a DC-3. I did try to find one, but there don't seem to be any out there. Maybe that's a starter for a group somewhere. River Rock says, who's going for a Cessna 172? No one, luckily.
Nobody.
Adrian Norris says, Johnny loses. That's harsh, Adrian. John Milner says, there's a spare Harvard on the grass at Enstone.
I'll nip there tomorrow.
That's it. Atkin says you can buy into the People's Mosquito, can't you? I guess you can. It's there's some work to do, and I'm sure they won't let you fly it. So yeah. Stuart Rue said Ed's going to have to pull something amazing out the bag to compete with Dave and Johnny. Paul Fraser Benison says nice beaver. That was bound to crop up, wasn't it? Andrew Kennedy says no floats. Yeah, beaver wins.
Dry beaver.
Oh no. Yeah, that's true. How often do you see that? So, what is it? A 400th share? Andrew Kennedy, what is this? Is this for the Beaver or for Ian's MiG? No, Ian's MiG was quite expensive, wasn't it? So
no, it wasn't quite expensive. It's $400,000 for the whole lot, and you could share it. So a couple $100,000 gets you half a MiG.
That's true. Yeah.
You can get, as we noticed looking through, you can get some 1980 Cessna 182s for $200,000.
Richard Kennedy says, "Does it have guns and rockets? Dave still wins." Ed wins again despite competition. To be honest, I think he cheats. Stuart, that's so harsh.
Stuart, I think your judgment is flawed there. I have to say.
Richard Kennedy says the Jet Provost at Newcastle operates fairly regularly. Cat Burton says they're selling a third share of a Hurricane. That's correct. There's one at Duxford that you can get a third share in. We did a fancy hanger about shares quite a while ago, and I picked that, and I think it might have been a winner. So really? I couldn't pick it this time round. Otherwise, we've got Bronco if Mosquito's not available. Michael Ward says Ed again. Dave spent 2.5 hours searching and deserves a prize for effort. There we go. You get the participation trophy. What else? Dave wins. Dave spent 2.5 hours searching. That deserves a prize. Plus, it was cool. It's hard. I don't know. Let's call it, because of Dave's very high cost share price. Let's call it a Dave win.
I think, yeah. I mean, if all of those aircraft were parked in front of you, and you could go and sit in one and fly it away, I think I would probably choose Dave's. To be
yeah, the Bronco is quite cool, but still,
the MiG would kill me.
I just wish someone would have a. I wish there was a Beaver Group in the UK where you could buy it for $3,600. Oh, sorry, £3,600. What a bargain!
Absolutely. Yeah. I tell you what, there is one at the Army Museum, isn't there? Maybe they want to split.
I'm going to. Yeah, I'll suggest that.
Fact, yeah, mate. We need to get Smokey Bacon on the live stream and chat to him about it.
You know what to do, Johnny. Right.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, we're 4 minutes over, so we need to run through a whole bunch of stuff here. Dave, events.
Well, talking about Smoky Bacon, he's leading the Airability Armchair Air Show, which is on this Saturday. This is an online thing. If you look at the Airability website, you can find out about it.
Yep.
Quickly, there's an evening barbecue at Popham tonight. It's happening right now, in fact. Spanfield, coming up at the weekend, 27th to the 29th of May. At the other end of the country, Scottish Aero Club flying at Perth, 27th to the 29th. Glenforsa flying is this weekend. There's a seaplane flying in France at Biscarrosse. This is a famous one that happens every year. And also this weekend, Wings and Wheels at Stowe Marie in Essex, I think.
Yeah, nice.
Cool. Johnny.
Nice. Yeah, so if you're not a member of the club, join £30 before the paywall comes down. We've got two live streams, 2 webinars coming up in the next sort of 4 weeks. The first will be Dave White. I think he's on holiday at the moment, so we've not quite pinned down a date from him. So we will when he gets back. And after that, it should be Mr. Darren Lewington delivering one on air traffic control and how to win friends there and influence them so you can get all the zone transits that you want.
Looking forward to that, Darren.
Yeah.
Good, excellent. QS White says here, forums are getting fixed yet. I know the forums are really slow at the moment. We are on it. We'll try and get the forums as fast as we possibly can. Unfortunately, it appears not to be as easy as you think, but who knew? I would like to thank very much Darren Lewington for coming on at very late notice. I would like to thank Mac for not coming on and giving Darren the chance. I'd like to thank the whole team here. Don't forget a couple of things coming up. One, as Johnny said, you should definitely join the club. And 2, if you can make it to Aerospace Bristol on Thursday, the 16th of June, please do so. Scroll back through this and find the QR code or Google Fly to Help, Aerospace Bristol pod, whatever. It's 45 quid, goes to a great cause. You get a great talk from Pod and a whole bunch of other stuff. And you'd even get to meet Darren Lewington himself. You'll be there, won't you, Darren?
Yes, definitely.
Darren will be there signing stuff, signing private. And you'll see a bit of the live stream live as well. So please do that. Please join the club. Thank you very, very much for joining us. Have a safe weekend flying, and we'll see. Nearly forgot. Next week, apparently, there's some kind of Jubilee type thing going on, and that's causing. Yeah, well done, Dave. There you go. So rather than putting out a live stream to nobody while everyone's out getting drunk and lighting beacons and eating burnt burgers or whatever it is that people are doing next Thursday, next Thursday's live stream will actually be on Wednesday. So Wednesday next week for the live stream in the evening. So we'll have live stream extra in the afternoon, live stream major, as it were, in the evening. So next Wednesday next week, thanks to the Jubilee. Thanks very much. Have a good one. Thanks very much, team. See you all soon.
Thank you, Sky Demon.
Bye.
Thank you, and thank you, Sky Demon, indeed.